Morning punters, happy Monday, up and at 'em. Hope the week goes well. Super Days racing at Caulfield on Saturday, 3 Group 1s. Big crowd, perfect track. We'll get to. Vince Cardi and I have reviewed the big races via our year-round carnival podcast. Free and corporate bookmaker affiliation free. Thanks to our wonderful members. So it's the biggest Blue Diamond crowd for several years, and the track race super. Great scenes in the mounting yard that everyone could see. After Shies and won, including the Tigers legend Dusty Martin. Hundreds of owners going ape dropping. What a good idea it is having a mounting yard in front of a member stand. There we go. But on track, that's a full year now since they changed their policy of not over-ordering the track. There's a clear helicopter view in Vince's data. And what used to happen at Caulfield around the home turn, it played significantly slower than the rest of the track, which I assume was a combination of over-watering and the sun not getting to it because it was more pronounced during the winter months. And that's not there anymore. It can only mean one thing. It's because the hoses are kept where they should be, in the shed. So the track's playing perfectly and the best horses win. Spoke about trainers' intent last week when it came to tactics. Gee, it's a good filter for Group 1s. You know, the golf swing, or back in the day, playing local footy, cricket, and a set shot for goal, or your golf swing's crap and you stand up too quick, you go, why do I think that? It's like that with predictions. What you should never forget with Group 1s, it's such a good filter, with trainers' intent, is grand final. Now obviously there's horses that win grand finals or Group 1s outside of the norm, but one of the best filters you could possibly put in is, was this horse sole focus set for this race from the time it came back into the stable from its spell? Futurity winner, Pericles, was. Favourite, Treasure of the Moment, probably wasn't. It's better further, even though it was so dynamic. First up, last prep, same track, same distance, winning the Memsey. Now, only Matt Laurie knows how much improvement's got to give, but the way it gassed out the last 200 metres suggests that it wasn't fully wound up and it was priced on that big performance rather than how forward it was. Now, if it was forward, it could be yibbity-yibbita for it. But if it's improvement to come, which the data suggests it was, then be wary of writing her off. But Pericles was sole focus, set to come to play first up, as it did last prep, and Craig Williams rode him in his 2 barrier trial lead-ins. Flew to Sydney, there's the lead. Blue Diamond, closer to free. Second favourite, wasn't sole focus set for it from the time it came in, because it wasn't even with Danny O'Brien, it was with Agent Corboy, who was the breaker and has been well documented. It was bought from a Caulfield jump out win prior to winning the Prelude. Favourite, Unit 5 wasn't, because it went to the Magic Millions and won. Winner, Streisand, was sole focus from the time it came in after qualifying for the Blue Diamond with a couple of stakes placings in spring. Sole focus set for the Blue Diamond. And Clint McDonald in a super Ben Mellum ride, and on the data it's just dead set perfection in even distribution of speed. Just shows once again how overrated the so-called disadvantage of being 3 wide at Caulfield is, particularly from the chute, only one bend. And in the Oakley Plate, Tropicus, Craig Williams again. And what needs to be pointed out, 2 things here. So Tropicus and Point Barrow, both trained by Sam and Anthony Freeman, were clearly both sole focus set for the grand final. One was favourite, and one was going to be, and it was going to be out the back. Point Barrow. Tropicus was going to be near the front. The Point Barrow gets smashed in the market. It's 50 kilos, 50 kilos, 50 kilos. It's only got 50 kilos, and it's only carrying 50 kilos, and it's only got 50 kilos, which of course is going to make it run much faster. Tropicus, meanwhile, was dynamic first up last prep. Was dynamic. First up, previous prep, guess what it was on Saturday? It was dynamic. First up and won the AP plate. Riding perfection from Craig Williams again. Now it's a leader, but it didn't lead. And the reason was the horses that were leading were overdoing it. What's clear in the data was that Craig Williams had the horse going in its absolute comfort zone. In other words, going as fast as it was going when it was leading, and then let the others go. So at the home turn, as it was always going to, 4 or 5 lengths in front of Point Barrow, who had 50 kilos. Did I mention it had 50 kilos? It only had 50 kilos for Point Barrow. And it didn't run any faster. In fact, here's the kicker. Point Barrow, first section, so that's from the barriers to the 800 on Vince's IVR data, went the fastest first split of her career, even though she was out the back. And in the mid-race, 800 to 400, or however you want to look at it, just that split, or from the barriers to the 400, it was going clearly the fastest it's ever run in its career. Lightly raced horse. And guess what? Didn't have a finish, even though it had 50 kilos. Did I mention it had 50 kilos? It just shows you how incredibly overrated weight is as a metric. And there's a simple reason for it. Because when you're in the racing media, you can bluff your way through as long as you don't talk about speed, because speed involves studying sectional times, which is not just the last part of a race, it's the first part of the race, it's the midsection of the race. But if you just use weight and margins and class, you can bluff your way through. And I know, because I used to do it. This is how to do racing media. Next runner is Satan's Underpants. It drops 2 kilos in weight after the claim for Clary Scratchin. It's had 3 starts at 1200 metres for 2 wins. How fast it run, didn't tell you. And goes up in class from its last start, but is now fitter, 3rd up. How fast did it run? I don't tell you that. It's probably a good idea in a race to let you know how fast a horse runs. Have a great week.